This is where the Ultra boys train, is it?
Yeah, in the Derby one.
Yeah.
I think last time we had 44 competitors. We have like a staff of about 10 coaches. And then the 10 coaches, 5 of them are former Ultra MMA people.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Ultra approached me, and at first I was a bit unsure because obviously white collar boxing, white collar MMA, some other organisations is quite a bit questionable in my view. So I spoke to Ultra, they brought the guys down, I said we'll do the first one, see how it goes. It was really successful, and the great thing about it was, on the fight night, every fight could have gone either way. You know, because I think the biggest thing with Ultra for me is the matching it up fair.
It's got to be safe.
It's got to be safe.
And that's what, in my opinion, that's what like a lot of local shows are missing. Is they're forgetting like the safety aspect. Like this is a dangerous sport. Like say I've been to a few Ultra MMA events, and it's like every time they matched up really well. But that comes down to the coaches as well. I think the coaches are matching them up well. The coaches are being able to like have the eye and say, right, he's on this level, he's on this level. Let's match them two together.
Absolutely. I say I have 10 coaches helping me.
Yeah. And
we have like a debrief after every session. And we'll talk about, I think Fred and John might be a good match up there, like let's see how it goes, you know. And we sort of do a constant assessment running through the 8 weeks, and then by the end of it, we're pretty happy with, Fred and John going to go together quite well, and we'll sort of like put them against each other at different points in the 8 weeks, just to see how they match up and see how fair it is for each of them. And like we had a show only a couple of weeks ago, there was 22 fights from Derby, and genuinely, some of the fights, the standard and the match-up and the entertainment was better than some other amateur shows.
Exactly what I said. Every time I go, I really enjoyed it. And Derby's quite a small place, am I right? So is there like loads of local people going and stuff to the event?
Yeah, I think they had it at the Pride Park, which is Derby County Stadium, the best football team.
We just drove past it. Yeah, we just drove past it.
Did you dip your head like that?
No, I didn't even. I don't know nothing about football, so who's telling you?
I think sometimes the problem with the amateur mainstream shows is that some of the promoters just want to make some cash. You know, they want to put bums on seats, and he'll go with him, that's good enough. Like, we need fights on it, just chuck them together. Whereas in the Ultra, we're really, really, really on top of it being safe. We're doing it for Ultra MMA, but also my academy is attached to it. You know, so if we don't give a good account of ourselves, you know, in training them and prepping them properly, then it reflects on us. You know, so we've got a really good reputation, and we intend to keep that. And so we try and make sure that in the training that it's all safe. You know, it's taught the right way. Probably about, I don't know, about 4 years ago, something like that, I had a cancer scare on my tongue. They thought I had cancer in my tongue, so they got a pliers, pulled the tongue out and cut off 3 parts of my tongue, and had it all analysed and stuff. Unfortunately, I was fine, and so the cancer research is really important to me.
Just Ultra MMA as a whole, even just all Ultra sports are just making charity, like it's brilliant.
I think it's around 25 million, something like that.
It's just growing and growing. You just can't even keep up with it.
More, like 28 million, 30 million pounds, something like that for charity, you know, for cancer research.
There's literally nothing negative coming out of it. It's like people they're testing themselves, they're getting themselves fitter, mental health's getting better, and they're raising money for charity. Like it ticks. Basically, there's nothing negative about it. It ticks every like positive box.
And in a safe environment as well.
Exactly.
A lot of people will come and they're quite unfit. By the end of the training, fitness has improved. They've come down a couple of kilos in their weight. They've improved generally all over their body, like, you know, their movements and their balance and their fitness. The biggest thing that they find challenging, and everyone does really, to be quite honest, even experienced guys, is when you're on your back and you've got someone on top of you holding you down, you know, trying to shift them and get them off you is quite taxing on your fitness. If they try to cut corners, or they've been training with Auntie Mary's nephew in a garage somewhere, we don't put them in.
Safety is paramount in all aspects of combat sports, in my opinion. If someone's not capable of getting in, they shouldn't be in there. And that's great as a coach to be able to look and say, this guy has not been doing what he should have been doing. He'll have to wait till the next event.
We've done that on the show has gone. I think there was 4 people who didn't fight. They hadn't put the minimum training in there, and I said, you know, I'm sorry, but you haven't put the training in, you can't fight. And what I suggest is going to the next show and then readjusting your training and get in there, because I'm not going to put, you know, Ultra doesn't want to push people in there just for the sake of it. That isn't going to happen, and so we had, I think, over 4 people who didn't fight on the last show due to that, you know, which I think is good. I think like, one of the positive things about Ultra MMA as well is that some of the people who come have only ever dreamed about MMA, you know, and sort of thought, there's no way they'll be able to do that. The first come, they wouldn't speak to anybody, they were really sort of shy and quiet. So their confidence has improved, and they've made a new circle of friends, and the whole being about themselves, you know, they come at the shell a little bit. And for me, whether they won or lost, it was irrelevant, because that was a success story already. They were sort of more confident, they were engaging conversations, and they were having a laugh and joke, making some jokes. And these were people who took that big step to come and have a go. Yeah. Really nervous. Once they realised that the atmosphere was a nice atmosphere, they had a lot of support around them, they settled down a little bit. And over the few weeks, they realised that they weren't going to get hurt or anything, because it's not about that. It's all about having MMA experience, you know. Everyone's going to know somebody who had cancer. So for me, the cancer research side of it's really important. And so when the guys come in for the training, sometimes people come in like to be a little bit excited, and I'll say to everyone, you know, this is all about having a fantastic experience. You're raising money for cancer research, you have a great experience. Like, no one's going to take someone's head off and walk on with it. It's not that, it's not about that. It's about training together, like helping each other, making some new friends. And so at the end of this, when you have your fights, in 10 years' time, you'll be in Asda, and you'll see the guy over there who you fought, and you'll walk over and you'll give him a hug and shake hands. How's it going? Like, you know, it's great to see you, like, what you've been up to, and you build a friendship, like, and you've done that through fighting as well. You know, you've made loads and loads of friends who you've hit them, and the next thing, like, afterwards you're having a beer together, like, and you're friends, and that's what it's about, mutual respect.
Definitely.
And both sharing that experience together, it's quite unique, really.
From when you're not involved with it, people don't really understand that. But in my opinion, you never have like a stronger bond than someone like who you've punched in the face. Yeah. As weird as that sounds, you're both in there exchanging blows, grappling each other, giving everything, and there's just that mutual respect. But people don't understand that when they're watching it. But when you actually do it, like you say, it brings you almost like a bond that people don't really understand, and you'll have that forever. Where some people, they train for like 5 years, they don't compete, and then they don't know if they can or not, and then they do it and they realise they don't like it. Whereas with the Ultra, it's like, first day, boom, you're in a competition, in front of the crowd, see if you like it or not, and I think that's the best way to get into it.
Absolutely. With the Ultra guys, the way I explain MMA as it's 3 phases. Phase 1 is like the kicking and punching phase. Phase 2 is the takedown and takedown defence phase. And phase 3 is the ground down phase. And so with the Ultra MMA guys, we don't give them like massive amount of information. We keep it quite small and try to make it a bit more quality as regards to quantity. And so they'll get a few techniques from the phase 1. They'll get a few techniques from the phase 2 and a few techniques from the phase 3. Start merging them together, so linking phase 1 to phase 2, so a few strikes into a takedown, and then we'll take them down into a possible submission to restrain them down there, and then a possible submission attack from there, and then we start putting it all together then.
It must be difficult for you, because obviously I'm not a coach, but there's so much to learn, especially in like a small time like that. The coaches who are running the Ultra, and they're like the unsung heroes, because it must be difficult to bring someone from nothing to like 8 weeks later, 10 weeks later, knowing a little bit of everything. It must be difficult. I
think that, for me, we'll probably work on, say, 2 takedowns. And they're probably a high percentage type of takedown, so it might be like a single leg on the leg and so on. Pressing the chest against the thigh, make them sit on their bottom. So we'll work on that one there, and we'll work on like a double leg technique. Because most people who are not high level athletes, when they're on one leg, they're quite unstable. Say like someone like yourself, get you on one leg, you'll be solid, like, you're hard to get you down. The average person like that, who hasn't done much training in that, you get them on one leg, the hip comes off their foot line, and next thing they're on the floor. So we try to teach them just 2 techniques that attacks that sort of takedown. We're ultimately a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. We've been in MMA for a few years now, and we're starting to make a bit of a mark there. Obviously, BJJ's our bias. Hopefully, we'll get some guys like you coming through at some point, won't we?
Sure you will.
That's what we'd like.
It's very nice. I love the gym. It's got a nice feel to it.
It's handy having the bags up there as well. Take the bags down.
Yeah, definitely. So do you have them down at nights when you're doing like a...
We've got the MMA classes, like we're getting them down. For the Ultra as well, we're getting them down.
So how many people can get on here at once? We were just discussing that.
Yeah, it's a big area, isn't it?
It is big.
I mean, we've had a seminar here. I think we had 70 people on the seminar, and there was still space.
Oh, there was,
yeah, still quite good. I don't like it to be where you can't lie down on the floor without hitting somebody.
So you don't want to do that.
No,
you don't want to do that. How big's that in the cage when you set it up?
That cage is not a massive cage. It's 16 foot, so it means that you've got to engage.
Yeah, it's good for a spar though.
Yeah, that's what I need. It's just right for sparring.
Yeah.
16 foot, they can move around a bit, and then they can engage.
Sparring on the mat with multiple people sparring at the same time is different to just having the cage on your own, especially with people watching. It's way different.
Exactly like that, and also with an open area like this, sometimes you can make your area bigger than what it should be, and then you're not really engaging properly. Whereas with the cage, you've got to mix it.
I only like to spar these days when I'm in the cage and there's people watching, because it's similar to a fight, whereas you get used to like sparring, there's another 20 guys sparring at the same time as you, it's like a bit different, there's no pressure on you and all that. Whereas you're stuck in a cage, everyone's watching you, they're looking through, you just got to get as close to the fight as you can.
Got one of the guys, he's done Ultra, joined the club, he's fought mainstream MMA. And he won a featherweight title for one organisation, and then he fought on Saturday for Almighty, his main event.
Oh, that's his belt, is it?
The Battle Arena one's his.
Yeah. Some of the gloves, they cut off a little bit too soon, in my opinion. So, especially with people inexperienced and they're like pouring out and stuff.
Absolutely.
And you have to be careful, obviously, the eye pokes, fingers going in the mouth and up. But the Ultra ones, the Ultra gloves are a little bit more over kind of the second layer of knuckles, so your hands are a bit more like this. So it's good for the boxer, and it's also good for the grappler as well, because you can still extend your hands and grapple, but it prevents this kind of eye poke, face poke and stuff.
Absolutely, like, and as you say, it happens in the professional world as well, but certainly in the amateurs, they might put the hand into maximum distance, and next thing fingers are in the eyes, and that stop the fight. So with their gloves, they've got them little pouch things, so that the fingers can't do that. And that's quite clever, really.
I definitely take part in Ultra MMA because me personally, I'm like into testing myself. I like putting myself in stuff that I'm uncomfortable with. So if I'm just like a guy working in an office or working on a building site or whatever, and I want to go down that path and try MMA, the first thing I want to do is I want to test myself. First thing straight away, can I compete? That's the ultimate question when you're doing MMA. There's great people in the gym, there's people doing big things in the gym, but can you compete under the lights? That's the biggest question. So ultimately, first thing I want to do is go and test that, and then I work on my skills after. Obviously, I've had the first 8 to 10 weeks where I'm going to be practicing, learning the basics, and then I want to compete and see if I can do that. So once I figure out if I can compete, then I progress from there. This
is Darnell. Darnell's fought in the Ultra. He carried on his training, and he's gone into the mainstream MMA now. He's had one fight in mainstream MMA, and he's having the second fight next year, probably about March time. Abby has had 2 fights in Ultra. First fight she had and joined the club and started training mainstream. And on the show at the weekend there was a girl who was a kickboxing instructor girl, like a really nice girl, and she hadn't got a fight, and Abby stepped in, partnered her in the training, and they fought each other as well in Ultra. And then we've got George over here, he's one of my amateur fighters, fought the weekend as well. So these guys all involved in the club. So we talked about 3 phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 is like the kicking and punching phase. And this is sort of combinations that we teach the guys. So sort of find a few punches and finishing with a kick and just moving off the centre line. The phase 2 will be covering the leg here, taking out some time. Abby's controlling the wrists, and she's going to shoot in for a triangle. Like the leg wrap around the neck, makes a choke, and makes the person tap out again. Pretty good, so get involved, guys, simple as that.
Cool.
Is that okay?